What is up, everybody? JT, the nightcap. Hope your day went well today. As I put in the title, we have a plan tonight and we're kind of on a mission. This is something I've been in the lab cooking up the last couple of days with some of my favorite earlier draft picks and two of my favorite rookies based on where they go. Judkins and Hampton at running back position. I have a very interesting build using those two. And we're going to do it. We're going to talk about it first tonight. I'm going to go through the first 9 rounds, how I want to try to start it from it's from a certain area draft slot using Hampton and Judkins. And I think if we do it the way that I'm about to lay out after the intro video, it could be a really sick team. All right, guys. So it's really simple. You draft Hampton, you draft Judkins, throw Milrow on the 18th, you win it all. I'm just messing with y'all. This build actually doesn't include Milrow. So it's a plan. Okay. The way we're gonna do it is you need to kind of be in the 2 through the 4 spot to make this work. We're going to grab either JJ or Lamb, whichever one you want there, assuming Chase doesn't fall. Sure, if you're at 2 and Chase falls, grab him. It'll work with him. The whole idea is one of those 3 elite receivers that's in the first. When we come around to round 2, take your pick of the favorite running backs that's there. You're either getting Achane, JT, Bucky. If you're into Jacobs. I don't like Jacobs' playoff schedule. But if you're into him, get him. For me, the pick would be JT there. The third round, depending on exactly which slot you're at, it's kind of pulling them up a few spots, not much at all. We're going Lamar in the third, and we'll run back over the whole thing at the end. So then when you come to that fourth round, you're going to be just slightly ahead of ADP. That's where you take Hampton. You come around in the fifth. If you're doing it my way and you took Lamar in the third, then you can go Flowers in the fifth. And then for me, when you get to the 6-7 range, you can play it one or two ways. If you really want Judkins, I'm really into Judkins this year. I'm, for this purpose of trying it, going to pull him up a little bit and take Judkins in the sixth. He'd be, I think, just slightly past ADP if you waited till you came back around in the seventh. Get you a little better receiver if you did it that way. I'm going to take Judkins, though, in the sixth. And then one of, let's say, Judy, Rome, Olave, probably Diggs will be there for sure. You could be able to get in round 7. On this particular build, I included Addison's name. I probably would not go Addison because you're going to want to make sure you know those first 3 or 4 receivers aren't a guy that's probably going to be suspended. Round 8, we're going to grab a receiver again, either Downs, Moody, Ayuk. Some of those guys based on ADP should be there. In round 9, we're throwing Andrews on there for the double stack with Lamar. That would leave you at a 1-3-4-1, would give you awesome flexibility. And of course, you have to be super into a lot of the players I just named to really like this particular build. But for me, it has so many of the guys in the first 9 rounds that I'm just like really in on. And I love Judkins. I just really do. My percentages are pretty high on him across all tournaments. Hampton, not as much. Not that I don't love him as much as a player. He just does have Najee, who's going to steal some touches, and he goes a couple rounds ahead of Judkins. Whereas I just think that's the only way Cleveland even has a chance is just to rely on their defense, run the rock. And I like Judkins as a prospect. But remember, in the second round, we're taking my favorite late second round pick, JT or Achane, whichever one is there. I like them both the same. So we already have that true anchor RB we're kind of just playing that upside of Hampton and Judkins. So the team would kind of look like your stud receiver with JJ and Lamb. You'd have three running backs so far with JT, Hampton, Judkins. You would have your four receivers with, of course, the stud you took first. Your second would be Flowers paired with Lamar. And then you would grab the likes of Diggs, Mooney, Downs, Pittman, one of those three in round 8. You're throwing Andrews on in round 9. There's a couple other ways you can play it if you didn't want to go for the elite QB, where I'm going to try to get Lamar in round 3. There's some really good receivers there too. You could get Higgins, Wilson, Rice is right there if you're into him. Then in round 9, you wouldn't feel like you really needed to take Andrews. You could go receiver there again and get like a Ibuka or Pittman or somebody like that. Your team in that case would not have the elite QB, and you'd be looking more like a 3-6, just a 3-6 through 9. You know, still have a lot of flexibility. Need to start getting into the quarterback room before too long. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to run some 20-second schnauzers tonight if somebody wants to hop in it with us. In 3, 2, 1, we are entering it now. And we're going to hope that we can pull. We'll do at least 2 of them. I'm doing 20 seconds because if need be, I might do a third draft tonight, just trying to make it happen. But we're on a mission. We want to get a pick 2 through 4 in the draft. Hopefully we get it right away in this first draft and we don't have to wait. But if we can get pick 2 through 4 in the draft, then we're going to try our best to go through the first 9 rounds. If we land it beautifully, it'll be a team of either JJ or Lamb, JT, Lamar, Hampton, Flowers, Judkins, Diggs, whoever's there at 8 out of Mooney, Downs, and Pittman. Throw in the Mark Andrews on in the 9th round for the double stack Lamar. Then we'll use the rest of the rounds to finish building out depth, get our bringbacks, another QB stack, all that good stuff. One reason why I had Mooney listed as the first guy available in the 8th round, or the guy I would like to target in the 8th, kind of the same reason why I went with Diggs in the 7th, and I'm okay reaching up a little bit for Judkins in the 6th to make sure we get the team that we want, is because then I really like it leaves you either Drake May or even later than that Penix that you could throw onto said team as your second quarterback. Lamar is your big dog anyways. I've been talking for a week now nonstop about the Ravens, how the more I just like really think about them, I am just so in on the Ravens this year. Like, I really think they're going to be on a mission. Lamar, some people say he got screwed for the MVP. Like, I just really think their offense is going to be clicking. It's the second year under Munkin. We talked about it, last night, how you can just start building, stuff on top of stuff, layers on top of layers. Yeah, I'm really, really in on them, to say the least. The draft field, let's see what spot we get. Probably going to have to wait till the next draft, as we have the 7th pick. And just knowing the ADPs and stuff, we'd either have to reach quite a bit. I guess we could do it with Puka. We could try to do it with Puka from the 7th spot, because the whole idea wasn't necessarily just to make sure you had JJ or Lamb. It was essentially to grab the elite receiver in the first round, grab your stud running back that you like in the second round, and then from there build it out. Probably might have a harder time getting Lamar in the 3rd round from here, though. 31, that's probably right at his ADP, I think. Oh, no, his ADP is 36. We could probably make it work still from here. We could probably make it work. There's one reason I like doing it, and I wanted to try it though, especially here from the 2 to 4 spot, is because another thing doing it that way, Lamar never, never, never falls to that 4 spot. So by doing it that way, you're not only going to be building a team that I think is really taking advantage of 2 of my favorite rookie running backs, by also having the stud running back there, but then at the same time, you're getting Lamar over here on this side of the board, which he normally goes more on the right side of the board. So just another way to get different too. I don't recognize any names off the top right here, but if you happen to be in this draft, please let me know and we will shout you out. What's up, Disbanded? Good to see you. What's up, Hartman? What's up? Lamar should have been MVP last year, but Allen should have been MVP in 2023. Yeah, but and more so the reason I don't think he really cares at this point about the personal stuff, but just the way they went out. He threw an interception in the playoff game, and Andrews dropped the pass or whatever. So, man, they already took Puka too. All right, we might have to wait till the second draft to try it. Because I think I want to go Gibbs here. Guess we could always try a different version of it and just flip it. We can use Gibbs as the RB anchor. Hopefully, we get a good wide receiver in the second round. We're going to do at least 2, maybe 3 drafts. We did the 22nd one so we could fly through them tonight. We really want to try to get one of those top 4 picks so we can. It'll work from the 1 spot too. But let's see though. We may try a little version of it here. Barkley all the way back at 6 because the 5 hole reached up for Puka. Have y'all noticed that the last couple of days it seems like drafters are getting bored with the first round? I've seen more guys kind of, shifting around. Uh, Chris just drafted the Candyman. I was watching a little bit of his stream before mine started, and he pulled Nico up to I think it was like 4. I saw somebody else do something like that the other day. I'm not really that into AJ Brown, but we can go Lad. We'll see who comes to us in the third round. Maybe we could still try it from here. That would be reaching up a little bit more to grab Hampton, though, in order to make it work. I don't know. We'll see. Let me see what players are there. The real problem, too, with like Judkins, 73, I think is his ADP. The only thing I don't like about being further back in the middle, trying to make it work, is we were already going to be reaching up a tiny bit to make sure that we got like Hampton right in here, and even more so on the Judkins pick, making sure we got him. Whereas now it'd be a little bit more of a reach, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's still within 6, 7, 8 picks of their ADP, so it's not that horrible. I guess one could say I'm getting bored too, as I've been not bored, but I'm trying to do the same thing they're doing by moving players around and thinking of different ways that we can attack this thing. Earbud's not working well tonight for some reason. Try that again. We'll see what comes back around. What you guys been drafting today? Any interesting drafts you guys have? So if we stuck to the plan, we would be pulling Lamar up to 31. But the only problem with that to me is we're getting awful close to, sometimes you'll see him fall into 40, 41. I never see him fall into this side of the 4th round. Let's see who's on the board. You know what? We're going to try it in the next draft. We want to really wait until we're more on that front side. And I really like Devontae Adams, and he's a guy that I want more of too. So we're going to kind of abort it for this one because we didn't get the spot in the draft we were necessarily hoping to get to really pull this thing off. Why are my earbuds? One second, guys. I'm trying to mess with the settings here too because my earbuds aren't working. All right, there we go. There we go. We have let's see what else, what all we need to talk about. Steve from the Fan Speak Network will be on tomorrow night with us. Sounds like we're going to do 2 drafts. We're going to start with the BBM, and then it would not be a show with Steve on it if we did not do the Superflex. So we aborted our plan for this one. We'll try it again in the next one. Hopefully we can get more on that left side of the board. Gibbs, Ladd, and Adams. I think we're going to go Tet here. Nothing wrong with that start. We got the Rocket, RB, and Gibbs. Then we went receivers, Ladd, Adams, and Tet. Nice firepower so far there. We're in the middle of the board, so we'll just kind of hang out. Hopefully we can scoop up some nice little values as the draft goes. Maybe catch a guy falling here or there. What's up, Who Hames? We're going to try my top secret plan on the next draft. We didn't really get the right draft slot. We laid it out at the beginning of the video if you want to go back and listen to it, what the plan was. But to make it work the way I really want to, it's something I want to try doing on the left side of the board, preferably like the 2 through 4 slots or even the 1 spot, because part of the plan was pulling Lamar up to that far left side of the board to get in with a certain combination of players in a certain type of build. What's up, dog? How you doing tonight? Good to see you in here. We're doing good. It was a good day overall. Kind of busy, hectic as usual. Didn't slow down until about 8 o'clock. Caught a little bit of streams here and there when I could. You know, the usual day for us sickos. Didn't touch much grass. I was busier than normal, so I didn't even get to take my puppy dogs for a walk, which is my one daily 30-minute exercise, I guess you could say. Let's see what we want to do here. We got Mixon at 54. We could go him with Gibbs and just be having a nice little RB room. Also really into Ridley. Let's go ahead and take Mixon on this particular one. We just grabbed the 3 receivers. We're liking how it goes. We got some nice options going to be sitting back at quarterback for us. We're going to do another 20-second schnauzer after this if anybody wants to hang around. We may even do 3 of them tonight. We're doing the 20-second ones because I really want to get one of them in that top 4 picks over there on the left side of the board, so I can try this little. It's not a full team. It's basically building a certain way through the first 9 picks, and it would leave you with a lot of flexibility for the rest of the draft and have a lot of my favorite picks. Of course, if you don't like a lot of the players that I talked about, then probably is not a build for you. But it has a lot of the players that I like that generally go on that left side of the board, with the exception of we're pulling Lamar away from the right to the left in the third round to make sure that we can get him because he never falls here. So if you want him on that left side, you pretty much have to take him in the third. And we want to try it. Let's see. I don't have any interest in Burrow right now. It's not really to the tight ends I want to go after yet. We just grabbed another running back, so probably we're going to stay with receiver here. Couple nice options. Which I think, let's see. Chargers. I think we're going to go with Judy. A lot of people are still into Godwin. I don't know. I always have a harder time. I'll draft guys with injuries, like I've been drafting some Diggs this year. I've been drafting Ayuk on the right style team where I think I'll be okay, waiting on him. Maybe a late season hammer if he starts out slow, or he may even start on the pup. But in Godwin's particular case, like I think he kind of has two things working against him, right? Like he has the injury, of course, which even if he's full go, he may start out a little slow. They may take it easy on him. They did just draft a first round wide receiver, so they may not feel rushed at all to get him back out there. Also, at the same time, they just drafted a first round wide receiver. We have Bucky going in the second round. There's just a lot of freaking mouths to feed on that offense. Tampa's a team that I think their team is going to be really good offensively. I have a hard time being overweight on any of them because I just feel like there's quite a few of them that could very well not pay off their picks because they're all maybe going a little too high. If Bucky and Evans and Godwin and even Ibuka, if they all do even close, yeah, I mean, if they all have pretty decent years, then by default, probably all of them were not that great of picks. In order for a couple of them to be really great picks, I think that kind of means some of them have to not be. I don't know which ones they are. So I just kind of tend to stay away. Let's see. It's not really a whole lot we want to do from a correlation standpoint. So we're just going to, when all else fails, take your favorite receiver on the board, right? Can't go wrong with that, can you? Let's see. We got our two running backs. We need to get a quarterback. We need to eventually get in a tight end room. This probably will be just a, whatever tight end room. Gibbs and Mixon, but then we got some firepower at receiver with Ladd, Adams, Tet, Judy, and Golden. Really, really like that. Didn't plan it, but it just kind of worked out where they all have different bye weeks too. That makes it even better. It's not an eliminator, so we don't care as much about that. Yeah, my man, get in there and do it. Just never take more than 2 on the same team if you feel that way. Yeah, but I also don't like to be wrong. I try to be wrong as little as possible, especially with top half of the draft players. And so I probably should take more. I mean, we'll look at my percentages in a minute. I have some of like Evans, I have some of Godwin, but I'm not super high on any of them because that's really it. Like I think the offense overall will be really good. I don't know who will be the end up being the good picks and who will end up being the bad picks, but I do not think that they can all pay off their ADP. And so there are going to be some people who are disappointed. Since we have the really, really strong running backs, we may. Do we want to do that? I don't know. Do we? No. It gives me another out. We're going to take Pittman. We could entertain now the idea of we probably can just be done at wide receivers. I mean, we have 6 of them. None of their bye weeks overlap, and it's a hell of a room. That'll kind of open me up to take all my later round running backs that I like. Eventually, we need to get us some quarterback play, of course. But we got a lot of guys still out there. You know, we haven't even got really down where a lot of the quarterbacks are. That would be nice little stacks with my team. Definitely going to be a 3 quarterback build. That's for sure. What's up, Steve? Got your banner down there on the bottom. If y'all missed it, Steve will be here tomorrow. Going to draft a BBM. And then, of course, we got to have a super flex. You guys already know about the Friday thing. We got all the guests lined out now. Steve's sister, Meg, will actually be kicking it off for us. I'm from Texas. We still believe in ladies first down here. What better way than to get it started? All right, let's start piecing this together now. I don't think we're still not ready to go quarterback yet. There's some running backs here we like. If one of these guys hold, we might have to think about it. Don't really want to go back to receiver room. We could take our boy Andrews here if need be. You guys know how I feel. I think I want as many. Now, see, that's different. Like, I feel like the Ravens are spread out in the draft, and just what I think the Ravens could possibly do this year. I'm okay taking as many Ravens as I can get my hands on. And I think we're going to do it now. Give us some tight end play that could give us some nice little upside from late in this range. I think he provides more upside for this team than Jaylen Warren did. Now we can kind of leave tight end alone for a little bit at least. Still not ready to get into the quarterback game yet. We got another round or so for that. Let's see, 20s. Yeah. If we play it right, hopefully the guy we really would like would come to us in the 11th round. One thing that scares me though is the 2-hole, but I don't think I want to reach though. Not this pick coming up at least probably. So we'll see if we can get him to pass. 30% advance rate would be nutty, and that's 70% wrong. Yeah, you're right about that. I don't really I don't know, I guess. So I always talk about sometimes how out of all of the we'll call them the big streamers, the guys that kind of rule the daytime for the most part. I think Liam is probably my favorite just because I feel like he's most like us in that like he's not afraid to really just say his takes or say what he thinks, even if it's kind of outside, and nothing against the other guys, but it does seem like sometimes, there's just a narrative or an idea or a strategy or something gets floated, and then next thing you know, it's what everybody on all the channels are talking about. And I do think Liam sometimes kind of sticks to his own thing. And one thing that, I learned from him, he was one of the people I listened to a lot a few years ago when I was first getting into best ball. We're going to hold off on quarterback one more time. I mean, he's kind of there staring us in the face. Steve's not in the room, so we actually got a little bit of a discount on him. Let's go with Scat. But he always talks about, how he doesn't worry about advance rate at all. He doesn't think about advance rate at all. He's really building his teams thinking, hey, what can this team truly be doing in the playoffs? He tries to push things, to get the so-called super team or whatever. I don't know. I think I missed it in the chat too. Who Hames was just saying 30% advance rate would be nutty, but then he was also just mentioning that also means we got it 70% wrong, or we missed 70% also. And then I was just saying that like that's one thing I took from Liam a couple years ago. I guess it was like two full best balls ago, the year that I first decided I was going to play it heavily. Did what any of us probably do, listen to a lot of content. Back then, I had more time during the day to listen to content versus I didn't listen to stuff at night. So naturally, I just kind of listened to the ones that were easiest to find on YouTube, which happened to be most of the bigger guys. Sometimes you got to work to find us smaller guys or just already be in the circle of trust. We got Herbert to come back. That's what we was hoping to do. We've been wanting to get some more Herbert. I think it was me and Who Hames that was trying to get him the other night on a lad team, and it didn't work out. I'm liking this team, guys. 1-3-6-1. We're still gonna do another one for sure and try our plan if we can get on the front side of the board. But we went away from that since we were picking a little further back at 7. We have Herbert, we have Gibbs, Mixon, and Scat. We have Ladd, Adams, Tet, Judy, Golden, Pittman, probably just done at wide receiver. We have Mark Andrews holding down the tight end room for now. We are feeling pretty good about it. We'd feel even better if Jordan Love came back around to us, but I'm not sure. Let's see how he's got two quarterbacks. One, Allen Daniels. That guy's got two. You know what? There's a decent chance the a-holes got two quarterbacks, and then the other three guys all have the elite quarterbacks. I have Golden and Reeds on the back side of me, so there's a decent chance it might work. I wouldn't mind a Love and Herbert room. Maybe probably tack on a third one still if it works out right. Let's do it. All right, so now we got Love with the golden pick. Got Ladd. We got Mixon as kind of a bring back to the Herbert game. My Texans are kicking their butt. See, like that right there. Why does that one not highlight? Sometimes it just doesn't act right. I guess maybe because I don't have Houston's quarterback, guys. Y'all talk to me. Is that why, like, the Houston under Herbert and under Ladd, is that why it's not showing up like a color? Does it only show you the bringbacks if you have the quarterback? Like it's showing me Mixon and it's showing me Andrews because they're bringbacks to my technical quarterbacks or to my actual quarterbacks. All right, let's see. What do we want to do here? We can probably pass them around one more. 150s. What are we looking at tight ends? We got some nice little tight ends there. Cleveland, Detroit. We could go him. We could go with our boy Roshan. We don't need Roshan. Let's go with another tight end. It gives us Andrews and Fryermuth. Fryermuth is a little bit of a bring back to the Judy pick. I got you. For some reason in my head, I'm still learning exactly how it works, but for some reason it'd be nice if they could make it to where it highlighted all of them, like essentially if that was an option, I would definitely love to turn that on where like it basically would highlight either way. Like right here, I have Judy and I just took Fryermuth. Like let's highlight that Cleveland and let's highlight that Pittsburgh since it's essentially, a mini stack without the quarterback or a mini game stack without quarterbacks involved. Maybe they can add that down the road. Let's catch up on a little bit of this chat. We got a couple picks. He was talking about $2. I got you. Definitely prioritizing advance rate. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to advance as many teams as possible. Like I get it. You got to advance and to win, and I guess maybe I'm more pro advance rate than I think I am by default because I always tell you guys that I don't purposely go out of my way to stack the week 17. Like I use it like then, I took Fryermuth because I knew I had Judy and I like Fryermuth as a pick and I liked where he was at right there ADP wise. So it made sense to do it. It gave us another out kind of too as old man Rodgers for a third quarterback. And I keep telling myself I started out drafting some Bigsby and then I kind of laid off for a little bit. But I think I want to get back to drafting a little bit of Bigsby. We got a decent little discount on him there too. It's like with Bigsby, so there's been, the Tootin fumble stuff. Now the other guy is the nobody guy is kind of in front of him and third down action that they say or whatever, or in the rotation. ETN's getting really good coach speak at the end of OTAs, but I'm like the way I was looking at it earlier in the year, and I was actually drafting a decent amount of ETN, and then I kind of backed off a little bit for a while. Those guys to me are kind of fighting for all of the same role ish, whereas you got Bigsby sitting there that nobody really likes to talk about, who actually was pretty good last year. And now we have an offensive coordinator going there who's got a good run scheme, likes to get multiple backs involved. And if out of all of those backs, the back that I think probably gets or probably is best suited for goal line work is probably Bigsby. So I think I want to get back to taking him some. I'm forced to take some Mike Evans because I mega fade some of the 3-4 turn guys. I'm bullish on the Bucks. Ibuka's tough at his current ADP, but I love the team. And see, we need to talk tomorrow night, Steve. Maybe you can make me see things more clearly because I am totally in on the Bucks as a team. Like I think they'll be a really really good offense. I think in general they'll probably win more games than they're going to lose. Probably be a playoff team. But it's just like with their ADPs, like I'm really afraid that either age is going to catch up a little bit with Evans and he's going to be the guy that ends up being a really bad pick, or Bucky's going to be a really bad pick where he goes at his ADP, just because there's a lot of mouths to feed who are being drafted all pretty dang high. We have a choice here. And I think we're going to go, no, we don't need to do that yet. Let's go Will Shipley. We can wait one more round for the running backs. For the quarterback. We didn't need to reach up that far for him. He's just our third quarterback. But and so it's like I don't know what to do with him. I'm gonna go. Let's look while this is going through. I'm gonna just open up a different tab because I'm curious. Bucky is the one that I'm probably the most out on as far as the Evans and Bucky and Godwin. I can't get there with Bucky. I can't get it. So in regular style tournaments, all of our regular 18 round non-eliminator ones. Let's see. I think if I did. Yeah, kind of like I thought. Mike Evans. I guess hold on. Let me make this pick real quick. And then I'll go look at it again for you guys. Now, if he comes to us, we'll go ahead and take Daniel Jones as the third quarterback on this team. He's stacked, so that's nice. But our boy Giddens is also out there, and we like him a lot. He could just be a 6 running back and be done. But there's not really another quarterback that we like. We have 2 smash running backs. We could use the third quarterback for this team more than I think we could use the running back. And there's always a little chance he'll come back, or if he doesn't, in the 17th, we could take Lloyd, 4-6 running back, since we have Love. But Mike Evans in regular style tournaments, I have 12% of him. Rashard White, he often forgot Rashard White. I have 6.5%. I have 3% of Baker. I have 3% Ibuka. I have 3% Godwin. I have 0% of Bucky. So when I tell you guys that I'm out on him, I guess I really am out on him. Let's look at what else can we look at? Superflex, and don't really care that much. Let's look at eliminators. How am I drafting them in eliminators? Kind of the same order, except surprisingly, I have more Ibuka in here. I have 9% Evans. Flip back over. We're about to be on the clock. We did not get Lloyd or Giddens to come back to us. You know what I want to do with tight end? I know exactly what I want to do with tight end. Let's go upside running back. Case of an injury, we're going to take Brooks from Cincinnati. This is the type of room, sometimes I'll take like Miles Sanders if I'm really just searching and trying to piece together a running back room. But I feel good about my up top. We have Gibbs, we have Mixon, we have Scat. I think Bigsby will have some touchdown games. So with a team like that, my last two running backs, if I'm going six, I definitely want to do like your Shipleys and Giddens and Brookses of the world, where like when I win with them, I win because even if it's not a season deal, there was like a few weeks maybe where they were the dude for their team and were very productive starting running backs. We're going to double up Herbert with Harbaugh's new romance. Did y'all hear when he went off on him for like 3 minutes in the press conference? Why not? He's really tall. Will Disley doesn't scare anybody. If Gadsden's any good at all, he'll get by Disley pretty easily. Conklin is Conklin. And we have a room with Andrews and Fryermuth, so we can kind of just take the upside play that double stacks with our quarterback. That is the team. 3-6-6-3. Herbert, Love, Jones, all of them stacked. Herbert doubled. Gibbs, Mixon, Scat, Bigsby, Shipley, Brooks. The running back room. Receiver room is going to carry the team with Ladd, Adams, Tet, Judy, Golden, Pittman. Love that receiver room. Mark Andrews and Fryermuth. And we threw Gatson on there as a double. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I think it turned out pretty good. Back to what we were talking about, the eliminator. I have 9% Evans, 6% Ibuka, 3% White, 3% Mayfield. I actually have 3% Bucky in the eliminator. So I guess I'm not a total zero on him. I haven't drafted any Godwin in the eliminator. Kind of makes sense. It is the eliminator. We're unsure of exactly how he'll be to start the year. Let's see. Let's catch up a little bit on, well, we'll go ahead and jump in the next room. We're going to go right back to the same thing, guys. We're going to do another 20-second schnauzer if anybody wants to hop in it. If you heard my intro, we went over what we want to do from the front side of the board. If we can get a pick 1 through 4, potentially even 5, depending on who falls. 3, 2, 1, 20-second schnauzer. Here we go. Hopefully it works out a little better for us. It's snap field. Hopefully some of you guys got in beforehand if you wanted to. And of course, we got the 6th spot. The dog gods do not want to give us that 1 through 4 pick tonight, so we can try to pull it off. We'll come back to it another night, though, or maybe we'll draft a third one. We're flying through these 20-second ones. Depends. If you guys hang around and you guys want to do a third one or want to watch a third one, we will. It's all good, Steve. We were just talking about we might do a third. Let me see what I missed here. Stuff like that. That's about where we left off. Yeah, because that's your stack. Houston players are bringbacks. Yeah, we caught that comment. Jimmy Googling now. Is it like this is who? I'm actually totally with you, Steve. Slightly overweight Godwin and Evans. I like God. I'm okay picking Godwin's in the regular style tournaments. I stay away from him in the eliminators. Steve shoot. That's why I'm saying if he likes the team, but not sure who, just take a couple of them. You will be wrong on some teams, but the Bucks are powerful. Yeah, you're probably right, and that's why I went and looked at my percentages. I definitely take some of them. We're gonna go Puka here. Maybe we'll try it from the 6 hole. The whole start involved getting a really good receiver first and then getting either your like JT or Achan in the second round before you went with the rest of the plan. The only thing I don't like about it is the further to the right that we are, the plan had originally involved taking Hampton right here in the fourth, which is a little ahead of his ADP, and then making sure we got Judkins here in the sixth, which is also just slightly ahead of his ADP. It's still not big reaches at six, so we might try it. Let's see. Let's see what comes to us first in the second round. If one of the top receivers, and the only other part about that is the more to the right that we get, the third part to that before you was in the third round, taking Lamar like right here, which is way on the other side from where he normally goes. Whereas I don't know if I've ever seen him as high as 30. I mean, I'm sure it happens. I'm not the only person to pull Lamar up, but just me, I haven't seen him that much right here, but I've seen him fall to the mid fourth a couple times. So the more to the right we are, but Achan is there. So I think we will go ahead and try it. So our start is a little different in that the original way I called it out with from that 2 to 4 spot was going to be take JJ or Lamb and then take Achan or JT, whichever one I could get there the late second. Hopefully one of those running backs would have been there because they were my favorite two. Like right there, if I would have been in the 4 hole, I would have went Lamb and then bam, JT would have fell there. But we can probably pull this off from the 6 hole. We're gonna try it. See if we can't catch up on a little more of this. Yeah, no, I get you now, who Hames. That would be me, Hartman. We need to talk about the WNBA stuff, meaning I haven't watched NFL like I used to in 25 years. I don't watch it except some highlights. NFL is all I really watch. I'll watch a Longhorn football game if they're on. We like to take my girls to the UT women's basketball games sometimes. They're pretty cheap, good, fun family entertainment for a really good price. I don't really watch them on TV or anything, but it's fun to go to their games. And we live 25 minutes from UT, so we're going to pass up some really good receivers, of course, to do it, but probably not a lot of people are pulling Lamar up to the straight middle like that. And we want to try this plan, see if we can make it happen, see how the team looks in the end. So we're going to try it. Puka Achan and Lamar. Nothing wrong with that. I want to be super in on the Ravens, though. I actually thought about, you guys know I'm always trying to think of new things. And, teams, they wear throwback jerseys, they wear alternate jerseys. So since the more I think about them and the more I look into them, I'm just more and more in on drafting as many Ravens as I can this year. I'm thinking about making an alternative intro video to play every now and then that's kind of centered around the Ravens. We'll see. I need to get some free time. Maybe on vacation next week I'll have some downtime or something. I can try to put it together. Hey, what's up, Vapor? Dog, that makes sense. If you don't love watching it, I love watching NFL games. Yeah, that's me. All about the NFL. Harbaugh gushes over everybody. Yeah, you're right about that. He certainly does. We're just going to try to keep up from the end here. I got kind of behind on you guys in the comments. Thank you for showing me so much love. If you haven't smashed a like, which it looks like all of you guys probably have, we're pretty much neck and neck likes and views. Appreciate it. I definitely enjoy spending my evenings with you guys, drafting some best ball teams, talking some ball, talking about my crazy player take ideas. Some of them are good, some of them are going to be really bad when it's all said and done with. As long as this guy doesn't ruin it, the plan was to take Hampton here in the fourth as my second RB. We need him to flip back around, and Flowers will be the pick in the fifth. And see, that was the other bad part about the more we do have Lamar, so maybe we can get it to work, but the more that we pushed this way, like in this case to the six hole, it's now a tiny bit past Flowers ADP. But a lot of times you can get Flowers to go past his ADP. There's still some receivers on the board. I think people would probably draft ahead of him. The five hole has four receivers. Three hole has three. We might. We'll see. Hopefully nobody takes him unstacked. It'll kind of throw off. It'll still be fine. I mean, we could still just take Andrews in the ninth, and then we could still get Bateman. And instead of Flowers, we'll just get like a Pickens or a Waddle or Ridley even as our second receiver. And it'll still work. It just won't be the Flowers Andrews double stack that we wanted. No biggie though. Playoffs too. Oh yeah, I love Tampa's playoff schedule. Yeah, they do have a nice, and that's what I need to get more in on them. You know what? You're right, Who Hames. I need to just draft more of the ones that I like, and just hope with those teams I'm right. I'm still not. I can't get there with second round Bucky. I just can't do it. I still like Evans though. I like Godwin if it's not an eliminator. I'm okay on the rookie, I guess. Like if the four hole doesn't take Flowers, I think we might be on track. Five hole has four receivers, so I gotta think he maybe pivots away here. He goes Pickens. He goes Kittles. I thought he might pivot away having the four. So far, I have my little cheat sheet, if y'all guys can see that, of the guys that I wanted to get, like we talked about at the beginning, and so far it's working out. Bucky is a little boy, so that's fair. And I mean, it's just like White is still gonna play. How much White is gonna play, I think might just end up being a little more than all the true Bucky truthers think, who think that Bucky's just gonna be. I mean, let's just look. We're drafting Bucky. I'm just me personally. I'm taking, of course, Achan and Taylor over him every time. And then once they're gone, I'd rather take Wilson and then try to pair him with Fields because I'm so high on Fields this year. I think I maybe would rather take Higgins over Bucky. I don't know. Maybe I need to get more in on Bucky too. Rice is starting to move up, but I liked Rice a lot more when he was like right here, kind of early third. Then you could take him over Bucky. I mean, essentially they're taking him over Bucky now, but I don't like Rashee Rice in the middle of the second round either. I know Who Hames is going to unfriend me for that statement. You might be right, Who Hames. He might be a good pick where he goes. I don't know. Maybe I should start taking him a little bit. Okay, there it is. If Who Hames thinks he's too expensive, we need to definitely lay off. In the 6th round, somebody took Judkins already. They messed up my plan. We're gonna have to just pivot. Let's just go Walker. Make sure we get somebody we like. Had to pivot. Yeah, they took him over there in 60s. That was really early from the 12 hole. Nico, BTJ, Mike Evans, Mixon, Jawan Jennings, and Judkins. He just likes Judkins. He knows what he's doing. That's a nice looking team over there. Nothing wrong with it. We failed. We did not nail the plan. For all of y'all, for all you guys that are my age, this is what I would tell that guy. I used to have to watch that damn Dora show so much with my girls. All right, let's see here. The plan kind of got aborted, so we're just going to kind of get off of it a little bit. But we still like Diggs, which was kind of going to be our 7th round pick in this plan anyways. He's a little bring back for Lamar, and it also sets Drake up as a QB2. With my Lamar teams, I generally like going with just 2 QBs. I know a lot of people are saying go with 3 nowadays, still with them for the playoff outs and all that. I get it. It's not my thing, though. I'm glad you liked it, Hartman. We try to have fun around here. So then the plan was in the 8th round to just take whatever receiver we liked best that came back to us. Because we don't want to get too far behind at receiver. We got Puka, of course, Flowers and Diggs. Really, the plan is went according to plan, except for the guy took Judkins way early. We were going to take Judkins instead of Walker there. But hey, Kenneth Walker will do. He is a my guy also. We are okay with him on the squad. The guy that we would like to get here, if he can hold, is Mooney. He's a bring back to Pickens. I mean, not Pickens, to Puka. If Mooney goes, we probably go Higgins. You can tell I'm pretty high on both of those two. Mooney went right before us. Take a quick look around. Yeah, I think we'll just go Higgins. Grab us our 4th receiver. And then in the 9th round, the plan was to just go ahead and stack Andrews with Lamar. Let's see, what's Bateman again? 111. I don't think I can get both of them probably. Maybe. We can take Andrews first and we can see if we can get Bateman to come back to us. That would give us a double stack. Y'all tell me if I'm crazy or not, but I'm so into the Ravens this year. I started even putting Hopkins on Lamar teams, not as a triple necessarily, but like, say I have Andrews and I missed out on the other two receivers. I don't know. Could Hopkins' knee really just been bothering him all year? And so a guy that already didn't win with speed was even a little bit slower than what he normally would have been because he's never been a speed burner, but he had like that little jitter, that little quickness to get open. I can see him having some spike weeks here and, 2 or 3 nice usable weeks for where he goes in the draft on a Lamar team. I'll take that. If I wasn't trying this plan, I would probably go Fields here. But we're already like, even for me, my Fields exposure is getting slightly. All right, all right, JT, you need to pump the brakes a little bit on it. 38% Fields in regular tournaments. I'm okay with it, but I definitely don't want it to get any higher. So I'll probably not necessarily make it a point to grab him for a little bit, but just take him when he really makes sense or when he falls a little bit. Just try to get it down a little bit, maybe. We still are really in on him, though. So far, our plan went pretty dang well. We pulled it off, except for we swapped Walker for Judkins. The whole idea of the board, though, of the build, though, was to get the two rookies, Judkins and Hampton, paired with Lamar on a little bit different area than what Lamar normally goes, to have a running back before the rookies and to have a wide receiver from the first round to kind of hold down our room since we knew we were taking those detours at other positions along the way. So now we're kind of, as long as this guy doesn't take him, we'll go ahead and get the double stack with Bateman. That's who I would obviously prefer. I'd much rather have Andrews and Bateman over having to go D Hop and Andrews. Got our double in. Now we can start worrying about, which we miss, probably going to miss out on Drake May. Doubt he comes back, but you never know. It could happen. Let's go catch up over here. He's just Gronk for real. It must be talking about, yeah, D Hop. D Hop never once has been able to get open. He has always used offensive pass interference to create separation. Woo! Are we talking like just from Arizona days on? In his prime in Houston, I have to differ with you, my man. He gets away with some shoving, but all of the great ones do, right? And like he definitely could get open without pass interference, and his hands were elite. He caught anything that his hands touched. I don't know. We'll definitely disagree on that one, and we can talk about it a little more. I mean, that's my take. I didn't. He obviously lost a little bit when he went to Arizona, and he hasn't been good recently. I give you that much. We're gonna go, I think, with another receiver here and grab Kirk since we have Higgins. I think Kirk is just a smash where he's going right now myself. If he's healthy, he's going to be a big part of the offense. He's not going to have any kind of defensive pressure on him with Nico there. Big old Higgins on the other side. I like him where he goes. He's another guy though that like he's really not actually a my guy. And this is what I was talking about last week when I talking about when I reevaluate stuff. I wouldn't have taken him on this team if I didn't already have Higgins because I am just a big team correlation guy. Because Kirk is a guy that I'm sitting in the mid 30s, upper mid 30s on my percentage on regular style tournaments. And he is just a guy that I've only gotten that high because it's an easy click in an area of the board where generally once we get past, let's say, Bateman, I'm not super into Hollywood. I'll draft him some. I know you are who, but I don't really draft Thielen that much. And so he's just an easy click for me. But I want to slow down on him some because I don't want quite as much of him as I have right now. Think we're gonna take CJ for our second quarterback and call it a day. That's part of why I did the Kirk thing. I knew whenever we took Kirk, I had saw where's he at? I had I thought this guy would take him, or there was a chance that he would take him. But if he didn't take him, which he probably actually should have took him, but I also knew that he had BTJ. So I figured it was kind of 50-50 if he took Trevor or if he took CJ. He went with Trevor. So then we were able to grab CJ. Since we have what should be the other two starting receivers. Other than Nico, of course. I consider most teams to, have 3 starting receivers. We could do Ferguson here for another tight end. There's not any receivers we love right there in that range. Let's go ahead and do Ferguson. Andrews and Ferguson. I've kind of been into this type of tight end build lately, especially when I do have Lamar and I know I'm going to stick with just 2 QBs. We can rock with Lamar and Stroud. No problem at all there. And I feel like this gives you a room like with Andrews and Ferguson, maybe tack on someone in the very end for a third even. But it gives us a chance to have some really nice tight end scores without having to get just, the 3 really, really gross tight ends near the end or just whatever tight ends at the end. They're not gross. There's actually some tight ends at the end of the draft. Oh, no. I mean, he was not good at all last year. I am not in any way trying to say he was good last year. How can you hate on D-Hop after he carried the Chiefs to the Super Bowl? Remember Hopkins' big game with Levis? Wasn't that Levis' first or second game? Yeah, I do remember that. And I mean, I'm a Texan fan, and I loved D-Hop obviously when he played for us. Hated Bill O'Brien when he traded him for peanuts. I don't agree with Haim's statement on him back in his Houston days, but hey, it is what it is. There's some stuff Mahomes likes to do that I don't really agree with and think is kind of bush league, but that'll be for a debate on a different day. Maybe when we're talking with each other, we can get into some fun conversations about last year's playoffs. Roshan Johnson, I've been clicking him a lot too. I don't know. I could be wrong. We all can be wrong, but I think he has the Montgomery role. I think he's going to be a spike week running back if there's such a thing. I can see a few games a year where their offense is doing really well and they get he only has maybe 40 or 50 yards, but he found the end zone twice. I'll take that from my 4th running back in the 60s. Now I can kind of just tack on the true, Giddens type upside plays. We're sticking with just the two quarterbacks so we can have some extra bullets for other spots. Since we don't have Nico, we would entertain possibly the idea of throwing Schultz on there. Just since Hames is hating on him, we could draft one more receiver and throw Hopkins on there and just get the whole dang offense. But we're going to take Rico Dowdle instead, I think. Let's go Rico. Rico's another guy that I want to try to get a little more of. I think he'll be involved some. He has good upside if there, of course, was to be an injury, which is what we're always looking for in those later round running backs. I would agree Mahomes does some stupid stuff. I just remember when Mahomes trucked that Niner DB. What are you two talking about? Mahomes, Bush League, stupid. Sounds like a show I'm watching. The one play, we'll go ahead and talk about it. The one play that really just got under my skin last year. You will not convince me otherwise, just like I probably won't convince you that Hopkins did not just rely on just offensive pass interference back in his heyday in his prime, not talking about what he does now. See, these 20-second clocks be sneaking up on me sometimes. Well, we got 5 running backs. Since we just took, we took Rico, right? Since we just took Rico, let's go ahead and go Jatavian Sanders for a third tight end. Since we already decided we're going to stay at 2 quarterbacks, we'll talk about the playoff game after this draft. I want to figure out what I want to do. I'm probably going to... We could throw Keaton Mitchell on the team. We could look for go with Marshawn Lloyd as a bring back. I don't know why. I'm not really that into Justin Hill. What we got over here? We could do Wicks as a bring back and go ahead and grab an extra receiver. None of you guys are in the draft, so I'll just star me up some guys. You must have had a lot of Rashee Rice last year. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Some of them do a way better job at it than me on the 20-second ones. We're going to take Marshawn Lloyd first, see if we can't also get Wicks, and then we'll really have that Baltimore Green Bay game stacked up kind of nice with some pieces you might not expect. Maybe Jacobs is out in week 17. Maybe this is the year Wicks does something. It's our last round pick. It'll end up with the 2, 6, 7, 3. Guess let me start looking for some backup options in case he doesn't make it back to us. Probably do want to go receiver still, though. Unless, is the old missile still out there? I guess if we had to, we can take a 7th running back. I'm okay doing a 7th running back if it's truly a guy that's just, backup upside if the starter gets hurt. He's kind of a bring back in week 15 at least, since he's got a nice little playoff schedule. He's not my first option. I want to throw Wicks on the team, but we were just looking for some options in case he gets taken from us. You guys tell me in the chat real quick. Y'all want to do any drafts together after this? And what do y'all want to do? If so, I'll do one more. If not, I'll probably call it a night after we talk about the KC and Texans game from the playoffs last year. Because there was really two actually, now that I remember back, two very particular plays that really irked me. And I'm honestly just curious to hear who Hames' thoughts on it. I am a Texan fan. Y'all know that. You see my signed CJ jersey back there. That was actually a Father's Day gift last year from my oldest who does not live at home anymore. Let's call the team out first. 2673, Lamar, Stroud, Achane, Hampton, Walker, Roschon, Dowdle, and Lloyd. Puka, Flowers, Diggs, Higgins, Bateman, Kirk, and Dontavian Wicks in the receiver room with Andrews, Ferguson, and Jontavian Sanders in the tight end room. We got some nice team correlation. We got Stroud doubled up. We got Lamar doubled up. We got some lesser known Green Bay bringbacks for that game. We have Hampton as a bringback for the Houston game. Overall, I think it's a pretty good team. We did the rounds 1 through 9 thing that we talked about in the beginning, with the exception of we put Walker as our third running back instead of Judkins because we got sniped on him. Schnauzer or Superflex for me. Let's do another Schnauzer real quick. They're a little quicker with less rounds. We'll jump into it real quick, and then we'll talk about that game while we wait for it to fill up. 20-second Schnauzer if anybody else would like to jump in it with me and Steve. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are entering it now. 3 spots left, so you should be able to slide in there still if you want, or if you're not already in there. Nice. Fantasy Dog got in there with us. Could have used CMC, though. All right, Who Hames, if you're still around, I don't know if you left for the night. I know you have to go to bed sometimes before I'm done. The two plays that really just for as good as Mahomes is, right? This is not in any way. Mahomes is getting up there, clearly GOAT status. He's won many Super Bowls. We're going from the 11. Steve's in the 10 spot. Fantasy Dog got the 101. Look at you, look at you. Hartman's in there in the 5 spot. This is going to be a fun one, boys. As I like to say, the waters are infested. But anyways, there was the first play on the roughing the passer call. You cannot convince me otherwise. I have watched that play several times on replay in different angles. Mahomes is running for the sideline. He comes to a complete fucking stop. He turns all the way left and sees a big ass 300-pound defensive lineman who's a nose tackle who can't really move that well, isn't really that quick, running straight for him. So then he proceeds, mind you, this way is upfield. He proceeds to run 6 to 7 steps directly left towards said 300-pound defensive lineman. And of course, conveniently, the very last split second, just falls down, not slide, falls down on his butt so that big ass bobblehead of his is just dangling around up in the air. Our 300-pound defensive lineman tries to go flying over the top of him the best that he can, but his pinky, of course, slaps Mahomes upside his big bobblehead, roughing the passer. You can't tell me that guy did not know what he was doing. He ran dead at a big-ass tackle that he knows can't move, And then at the very last second, didn't slide, drops down to his butt, knowing that his head was going to get brazed, at the very least, brazed when he goes by. Let's go, Nico. We need more Nico. We want him with either BTJ or Lad. Hopefully, we could grab one of the two. That was play one. Oh, but there's more, as Dr. Seuss would say. Definitely going to get one of the guys we want. We haven't been able to do a Nico with BTJ or London that recently lately. And we kind of have our pick here. I have more London than I do BTJ. So we're going to go with BTJ. I mean, what do you expect the guy to do? He's 300 something pounds and probably runs like a 5'9". He tried his damnedest to jump over Mahomes. Like, if you don't want to get, like, if Mahomes would have slid, okay, all is fair. But, like, he doesn't even slide. He knows he's got, like, this big bobblehead with the oversized helmet. Like, he literally just sat down on his butt like he's sitting down for story time in the 5th grade or something. And then later in the game, there's a play on the other sideline where he's running along the sideline and like he's clearly still in bounds and somebody like barely touches him. I mean, just barely, just enough because if you don't touch him, he's gonna fake you and run up the sideline. Just a little tap, and he gives it the old throws his head back, full soccer flop style, looking like an NBA player flopping around out there. They didn't call that one, of course. It was a little too blatant, I guess. I agree with that now, Who Hames. I totally agree with that. It's it puts them in bad situations. And we had it happen to our middle linebacker, Al Shazier in the Jags game against Trevor Lawrence, where Trevor Lawrence actually slid, but it was like he slid at the very last second. Now, the linebacker didn't try his best to also not hit Trevor Lawrence. So I am not in any way saying that was like a just total clean hit. But it does put them in a really bad spot. Everything's happening so quick. These guys are so big, so fast. And now, very next thing you know, just bam, a guy drops down and you have to try to like split second jump over him or out of the way or something like that. But Mahomes knew what he was doing, though. He knew what he was doing. There's a reason why he dropped to his butt. Mahomes knows how to slide. I've seen him slide plenty of times. That was not even an attempt at a slide. He ran sideways. The field was that way. Like he could have gained 4 yards on the play before somebody touched him. But instead of gaining 4 yards, he chose to run directly sideways at a 300-pound guy and then sit down on his butt for story time right as he gets to him, knowing that the 300-pound guy who can barely move and is not athletic at all is going to have no option other than to try his best to get out of the way, but probably end up touching his helmet somewhere because it's right there. Anyways, though, I love you, Who Hames. I do enjoy our talks when we get together on streams, and it's nothing personal, of course. Like I said, Mahomes is an amazing quarterback. It's almost like you're that damn good. You don't have to do stuff like that. And who knows? Maybe that isn't quite how it went. All right. I keep telling y'all I want to draft them as many times as I can reasonably do. I think they're going to be on a mission this year. I'll take some Nico BTJ. I want as many combinations of different types of teams with Lamar and the Ravens as I can get. That's part of where I came up with that plan about pulling Lamar up on the other side with some of the players that generally go there. Let's see. With the Kyron still being there, we almost kind of wish now that we would have went with. We don't have any running back yet. Now I kind of wish I would have went London, but whatever. We'll still take Kyron. We don't live and die by the bringbacks. We want to build good teams first and foremost, and then worry about the bringbacks as we go. No, he is efficient. Like I just said, it is not in any way I don't think Mahomes is good or he's overrated. It is nothing like that. It's just, if anything, it's the total opposite. I think he's so damn good that I don't know. Just, and you know what? I'll be honest. If it wasn't my team and it wasn't a playoff game, it probably wouldn't have rubbed me quite in such a way that it did. Let's see all these unique starts. Jamar, Higgins, and Evans. But the real question is, dog, is somebody going to protect the integrity of the draft and not let you get Burrow at the 6-7? Won't be me. I'm not drafting Burrow unstacked when I have Lamar. Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, JSN and Worthy. It's a little different. I like it. I'm not in on JSN, but me being out on JSN is simply my feelings towards Sam Darnold. And then even if like I'm right about Sam Darnold being bad and Jalen Milroe being in there, say the second half of the year, I don't think that really helps JSN much either. I think for JSN to really be killing it this year, Sam Darnold has to start a whole lot of games and be pretty good. I personally don't think that will be the case. But I could very well be wrong. Let's see. What do we want to do here? I don't think he'll make it, so we're going to just not even think about that. It's past, yeah, so we could get him. We'll see. Let's see what. There goes Flowers. I figured he wouldn't make it back. That's a nice start from the 9 spot. Puka, London, Chase Brown, JMO, and Flowers. It's super nice. Well, Ridley and Mixon were the two that I was debating there. Steve made it an easy choice for me. So we will go with Mixon and see which receiver we get on the back end. Definitely probably want to go receiver with this pick. BTJ. I think we're going to go Rome. Rome's like the only receiver there that isn't getting any negative coach speak going on right now. Somebody made a really good point too. It might have been you who Hames. Was it you and somebody talking about it where y'all were talking about I don't remember if it was you or your guest or when you were on the other guy's channel, but somebody was talking about today the Bears probably potentially running a lot of 12 personnel. And let's face it, Burden's not a red zone type receiver. Odunze fits, if they only got one main red zone receiver in there, it's probably going to be Rome. Yeah, I knew I heard it with you and somebody today. Like the Rome pick had him and Godwin queued up, and it was going to take whichever one you didn't. But the real question is, there's 3 guys with no quarterback, and none of them are in the chat. Are they going to let our boy Dog get Burrow back at the 6-7, or are they going to snipe him? Just got to make it one more, Dog. I'm rooting for you, by the way. I'm hoping. Oh, no. Oh, man. Hold on. Y'all know what we say to that. That's messed up, my man. They couldn't let you make it. There you go. Don't let it phase you. Just take Baker with Evans. Outdo him that way. But it would have been nice to get, ideally, if he wouldn't have got stacked, you could have even just went ahead and did like Baker and Burrow and had a really nice QB room. It just sucked that he got so close. That's one thing I haven't been able to do yet is get Burrow to come back to me on the Chase team at the 6-7. Honestly, though, it's probably because I don't have a whole lot of Chase teams that I also have Higgins. And so more times than not that Higgins drafter is going to take him in the 6th. All right, let's see. What do we want to do here? We need to get to... no, we don't want to do that yet. Could go Hawkinson. I think we're going to go Jordan Mason. I think Jordan Mason is a nice click. And I don't want to be like super overweight on him, but I only have 3% right now. And I definitely want a little more than that, I think. We weren't to our QB spot yet. I don't love any of these receivers. We'll go Hawkinson. BTJ. See, where is? Yeah, that's what we might do. Do it a little different on this one. We're stoked. Thank you guys for stopping in tonight, by the way. It's always a lot of fun when you guys are here. I do appreciate you. What do you have lined up for tomorrow, Who Hames? I heard you talking about a potential guest. Did you ever get that lined out for your channel for tomorrow? Hartman's the forgotten one. I keep forgetting he's in here. CMC over Bijan. I can't get there with you on that one, my man. Rashee Rice, Breece Hall, Kittle, Cook, Olave, Judkins, Reed. Got a nice little team going though. I don't hate McCaffrey. I just don't like McCaffrey in the middle of the first. I'll still take him every now and then back here. When I've tended to take McCaffrey lately is whenever Puka and Neighbors go. Maybe I'm at the 9 and maybe like Puka went like 7, 8. Maybe I'm at like the 10 and I don't feel like going with Nico or BTJ or something like that. I guess after last year, I just have a hard time taking him earlier in the first round. I know he's healthy now. I don't think I would take him over Bijan myself, but hey, more power to you. You're definitely a sharp drafter also, and I will be wrong about a lot of my player takes and the way I have guys ranked, just like we all will. McCaffrey's starting to turn into one of those, like, when I hear people talking about him on Twitter and in chats and stuff the last week or so, especially since he kind of been moving up, and people are either like, seems like most people are either super in on him or just super out on him. Let's see, we got 3 running backs. I don't really want to get into a running back room right now. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen there. Guess let's see what Steve does. I think we want to double tap receiver here. Since we have Rome, drafted too many teams tonight. Yeah, I thought this was a team I took Rome on. We're going to go Rome. That gives us kind of some team correlation. I like trying to get as much team correlation as I can. You get that ping-ponging effect. Maybe one week, maybe early Burden's, Rome's the one doing it. Maybe later in the year we get some spike weeks from Burden. Try to get less right. Now we'll go ahead and grab Bateman since this is a Lamar team. What's Steve been doing lately? Justin Fields and Mahomes with Worthy and Travis Kelce. So I'm curious, Who Hames, what do you think about Kelce? There's a lot of reports about, I had mentioned it weeks ago. There wasn't many people watching my streams, and it was like just a couple weeks into streaming. I mentioned I had read something like a month or so ago, a while back, about Kelsey being in like, which a lot of people say it, but being in the best shape of his career, and he really wanted to come in this year like in better shape. And then just a few days ago, I read something about one of the beat writers or something like that, saying kind of the same thing, that like he looks way slimmer than he has the last few off seasons. I saw you had 0% CMC, so I had to take him for the bit. Do I have 0% CMC? If I do, it's only in these style tournaments, because I know I've taken CMC. No, well, the eliminator I have 9%. Make sure it's not to me. The eliminator I have 9% McCaffrey. Yeah, I guess you're right. In the regular style tournaments, I don't have him yet. Interesting. But I was telling somebody, I think it was when Who Hames was on my channel. So like out of all the regular style tournaments, you know, the 18 rounders that's not an eliminator, I've only drafted, there's only 33 teams worth of exposure, because, you know, I came over to Underdog a lot later than you guys. Obviously, like, you know, I started even when I was streaming, still drafting on nothing but DraftKings for the first few weeks. And then it was right after I came over here that the regular puppy had closed. And so that was kind of really gone. And I don't really plan on doing a ton of BBMs this year. Like right now, the only BBMs that I've done are the ones that I've did with people. And that's probably just how I'm going to do it this year. Like whatever ones I end up doing on stream with people. There's just other tournaments that I would rather like do for me on my own. So I don't have any CMC, but we'll get us some when he's more in the middle or more in the later part of the first round. Let's see. That guy has a quarterback, so we can probably push it one more round, unless we want to just. Oh nope, the other guy is gone. So we'll hope he comes around. Any receivers I love here? Kind of get into that range where I don't really like a whole lot there. We're gonna grab Jaden Blue as a fourth running back. Blue's a guy I want to be a little more in on. I started out the year thinking I was going to be totally out on him. But again, kind of like with the Chicago running backs, now that Chubb's not an option going to Dallas, now that Dobbins isn't an option going to Dallas, I mean, somebody's got to run the ball, right? And I don't think Blue will be like by any means a workhorse or anything like that. I mean, he couldn't even do that in college. We're going to grab Trevor here. Trevor and Lamar makes a nice little QB room. We had BTJ, so it kind of made sense from that aspect. Also, that's what I like to do with Lamar, is I like to get me like a Stroud or Penix or a Herbert or a Lawrence, preferably stacked. If I have to and I get boxed out and I have the receivers, I'll go down to like a Young or a Geno, because if I'm right about what the Ravens are going to do this year, he's going to be hitting my lineup damn near every week, if not every week anyways. Smoking a stogie on the bench over there with Patrick Mahomes' dad. Swifty said he was fat, I hear. We like the way this team's going so far. We'll see how we can finish it off. There's 4 of us in here. 2 of us is making it out. Hopefully one of them will be us. But you know what? It's fun. Wouldn't have it any other way, guys. It's a lot of fun drafting with y'all. I appreciate you coming by for the nightcap. Ending your night with JT. We'll have some fun. We'll talk about the hot topics. We'll talk about our teams. We'll talk about other teams. Draft all summer and then see what happens when the regular season starts. You guys are gonna have to talk to me. Are y'all have y'all done the BR drafts and stuff on Underdog before? I think I'm gonna get not heavy into them or anything, but I'm kind of thinking I might want to mess with them a little bit during the season. I don't know. I'm trying to think of different ways to keep the channel going at least most nights, or I probably won't be 6 nights a week like I am during best ball summer, but I want to at least stream maybe 5 nights a week. But I don't really want to totally go to a whole different subject or anything like that, or I don't really play regular DFS anymore like I used to. I don't really want to be like a regular fantasy football channel, I think. So I'm trying to think of things best ball-ish or related that I could do. And that just kind of, I think there's obviously a lot of crossover between best ball and the BR drafts, to where I think it'd make for some pretty good content with the same types of people. We're done at quarterback. 2, 4, 5, 1. See the top tight end on the board? No, he isn't. We'll see if we can get him to pass. Hardman said he took CMC for a bit. We're going to grab the value on CMC's backup. So when he gets hurt, we will capitalize. 5 running backs. Got 5 receivers. Probably should have went with Strange for the stack, but I'm just going to hope that this guy doesn't take a tight end here or doesn't want Strange. If so, that's who we'll grab with this pick. And he went with a different tight end. 2, 5, 5, 2. We got Lamar and Lawrence. Probably done there. There's no other quarterbacks that would really even stack, except if McCarthy might still be out there. Hockenson and Strange in the tight end room. Nico, BTJ, Rome, Burden, and Bateman in the receiver room. Kyron, Mixon, Jordan Mason, Blue, and Garindo at running back. We have the little Houston team stack going with Mixon and Nico. We have the Lawrence double. We have Bateman with Lamar. We're feeling pretty good about it. Feeling pretty good. I don't know about that, my friend. We shall see. We shall see. I mean, I'm not super in on him though either. You saw I only had 3% of him. I would much rather have CMC. I mean, if CMC's healthy, he's a smash. I am not in any way saying it is a bad idea to take CMC in the middle or even early-ish middle first round. Every year that CMC's been healthy, he's been an absolute smash. And if he's healthy this year, he will again be an absolute smash. There's no doubt about it. Let's see. We got, any new banners? No, nothing really. We just have the Friday deal I'll let you guys know about. Let's finish this one off. We're in the 15th. Fantasy Dog just took Darnold. I'm ashamed of you. You let me down. I could very well be wrong about Darnold though too. That's the thing. You know, I know who I am. I'm a Jag. I'm just a guy. Like all of us, I watch a crap ton of film and read stuff and do my research. But none of us can be right all the time. Let's see. You know what? I tell y'all I'm not afraid to do it. Actually, just because I don't think nobody else will take him, we're going to go with a third tight end. And we're going to get Gesicki for some upside. He's a nice little week 15 bring back. We got to get out of week 15 too. So when the Ravens are going nuts against Cincinnati in week 15, maybe Gesicki will have a good game and help us get out of the round. So we're not going to have a lot of week 17 stacks unless we do the very late Green Bay stuff again. But that's okay. Listen to Pittsburgh. We maybe can figure something out as we go. We're going to do it. We're going to throw Old Man Hopkins on there. I don't do it that much. I only had 3% of him. Makes for a nice little in 5th and 6th receiver paired up with Lamar. They can catch some touchdowns from him. 2, 5, 6, 3. We have 2 picks left. One will definitely be a running back. Maybe one running back, one receiver. Probably that's the play. We'll see what comes back to us. CMC stands for can't make cuts. I was out on CMC last year, but this year I'm in. Yeah, you have definitely been in. You missed some good stuff tonight, Mark. We were talking about some Mahomes and just flopping in the Texans playoff game. Hames got me a little worked up because he said Hopkins in his prime couldn't get open. He only relied on offensive pass interference. We have a whole room full of the chat drafting in this draft. The second draft, we pretty much pulled off that mission I was telling you about earlier today, except we did have to go away from Judkins because he got sniped. Damn, I was going to do the Darnold. Milroe is better anyways. Oh well, Rodgers it is. Always rely on old man Rodgers. I need to write an article about why I believe in Darnold. Maybe you can give me the bull case tomorrow. Will Steve make me draft Darnold tomorrow? I keep telling y'all I'm not gonna do it. Can he convince me? Alright, take it easy, man. Thanks for stopping by as always. Catch you tomorrow. Let's see how we want to finish this off. Marshawn Lloyd just went. We were thinking about maybe doing him. Running back just got like super, super gross all of a sudden. Like, so gross, I may just stick with 5 running backs. Nothing really stacks here. You know what? Let's go with Mr. Steady Eddie himself, Slayton. I like Slayton. We don't have any quarterbacks that we want to throw it on. The early bye weeks make it not even worth it. We'll just go ahead as long as he doesn't go here and triple stack Lawrence. I don't see anything else I like. I think I can get by with those 5 running backs. Kyren, Mixon, Mason, Blue, and Garindo. I just feel like Dyami Brown has a better chance of helping us than most of these guys. There's nobody there I really like to draft at all. They all went already. Whatever, we'll go 2-5-8-3. If my running backs are healthy, the room's good enough. Hopefully they're healthy. Yeah. Hopkins was a dog for sure. That was my guy back in the day. Sorry about that. I didn't like not having top 4 quarterbacks, so I panicked. Wanted to make someone else feel the pain of being sniped. It's all good. Always prioritize ensuring I feel good about my QBs. Savion Williams viable or no? I don't know. I need to look into him more. I'll be honest. I know who he is and everything. I haven't really looked into him a ton. There's so many guys ahead of him there, and then Green Bay likes to kind of run the ball too. I mean, he's got some game to him. If I don't know, Steve probably knows him a little better than me, so I'll defer to him and say he's clickable. But a lot of receivers in the 18th round are clickable. Packers quadruple stack. I need to go and do some more work on Savion though, because I'm not gonna lie, I haven't done a lot on him. All right, guys, let's call him out real quick. Then we're gonna get out of here. 2-5-8-3 is what we went with. Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, Kyren, Mixon, Jordan Mason, Blue, and Garindo. We do have 2 week 6 bye weeks. Hopefully the room can hold it down with just those 5 for us. Nico, BTJ, Rome, Burden, Bateman, Hopkins, Slayton, and Dyami Brown is the receiver room. We have Lawrence triple stacked. Hopefully Cohen has an offense cooking. Hawkinson, Strange, and Gesicki at tight end. Steve was right behind us in the 10 spot. He went with the 3-5-7-3. Mahomes, Fields, Rodgers, like the QB room. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Tootin, and Algier. Hell of a running back room. JSN, Worthy, Ridley, Godwin, Brown, Thielen, Austin, Kelsey, Taylor, and Jawan Johnson at tight end. I like that team a lot. You got Mahomes triple stacked. If the Chiefs go back to being the old Chiefs and slinging the ball around, that team is going to be hidden for real. You got the firepower of Henry and Taylor and Jones at running back there with the in Algier's case, the backup. But Tootin could end up playing a whole lot. Hell, he could end up being the starter. We still don't really know there. If Darnold is good, like Steve thinks he could be, JSN is a good play there. I'm really high on Ridley. That's a really nice team, sir. Wouldn't expect anything else. You clearly know what you're doing. You have a lot of hardware to back it up, sir. Fantasy Dog 3662. Baker, Tua, Sam Darnold. I remember he was one pick away from getting the Burrow double stack to fall to the 6-7 turn. His running backs ended up Chua, Kamara, White, Eckler, Brooks, Mostert. Wide receivers Chase, Higgins, Evans, Pearsall, Williams, and Pierce. Tight end room Mark Andrews and Jawan Johnson. So Johnson's with Tua. Wasn't able to get anything with Darnold. Baker with God. Was it Edwins or God? Evans. It's a pretty good team. Team would have looked a lot nicer, I think, if you would have been able. If I'm curious if you're still around, dog. If you would have got that one more pick out of Burrow, would you have went with the double there? Would you have double tapped Baker and Burrow? Because that would have been a super nice team, in my opinion. If you had Burrow double stacked, and then you had Evans also with Baker. Let's see. You had Jonnu, which Miami kind of plays into Tampa, obviously week 17, but also week 16 with Cincy. I'm curious if you would have did the Baker Burrow thing there, and if you would have done the Baker Burrow thing, if Burrow would have lasted one more pick, would you have then probably just stayed with those two QBs? So if so, I think it could have turned out to be a hell of an interesting team. Let's see what Hartman did, then we'll call it a night. He went with the 2-5-9-2. Bo Nix and Love at quarterback. Nothing wrong with that room. CMC, Breece Hall, Cook, Judkins, and the missile at the end. That, my friend, is a really strong RB room. Say what you want. Say what I want about the McCaffrey in the middle of the first round pick. I also said it's not a bad pick there. I just don't do it myself. But CMC, Hall, Cook, Judkins, man, that's a nice room. I like that running back room. Rashee Rice, Olave, Reed, Pittman, Mims, Tillman, Dobbs, Wicks, Savion, George Kittle, and Ertz at tight end. I like the tight end room. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting team, but I like it, and it could definitely work. I mean, Rashee Rice, you got him with the Denver stuff as a bring back. You didn't really, after Olave is your second, and then your third is just Reed, and fourth is Pittman. So I think you did a really nice job of, sticking with the two QBs. Stick with those five, because those five are definitely good enough at running back. You can get by with those two at quarterback, because Kittle should be kind of doing Kittle things all year. So then you used all those extra bullets just to take all your favorite late round receivers and try to attack it with volume. Nothing wrong with that at all. I like that team a lot. It's very interesting. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a good night. It was fun as always. Steve will be on tomorrow, same time, 10 o'clock. We'll be drafting first a BBM, and then I think we're going to go with the Superflex, because we got to kind of do a Superflex if Steve's on the show. Hopefully he can rub some of his magic off on us, and we can pull the 101 in one of the drafts. Y'all have a good night. I'll talk to y'all later.